And it is time for one of the biggest fight cards of the year. UFC 309, Stipe Miocic versus Jon Bones Jones. Let's get right into it, but before we do, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload. Let's go. We are less than a week away from the first fight on this card. Well, from obviously this card. But we are kicking us off with Mauricio Ruffy versus James Llontop. I do believe Llontop is coming off of a win from the UFC Dana White's Contender Series, and Mauricio Ruffy has been in the UFC for a bit. And I think Mauricio Ruffy, I don't know if I'm correct, I'm probably wrong here, but I think his last fight was at UFC 301. Maybe not. It might have been a little bit sooner than that from what I remember. Llontop is 14-4. His country is Peru. He stands at 6 foot tall. He weighed at 173 pounds 10. And his last win has a reach of 73 inches and a leg reach of 39.5 inches. While Mauricio Ruffy, on the other hand, is 10-1. His country is Brazil. He stands at 5 foot 11 inches tall. He weighed at 167.5 pounds and his last win has a reach of 75 inches and a leg reach of 41 inches. Where Ruffy lacks in the height by 1 inch, he has a 2-inch reach advantage and a 1.5 inch leg reach advantage. James has more on his record. He has 4 more wins and 3 more losses than Ruffy. That's fairly close. Sometimes experience doesn't always pay the bills. But let's move on to win buys to see how they've got it done in their previous fights. With Mauricio Ruffy having a 100% KO and TKO rate, 0% submission, 0% decision, with an average fight time sitting around 10 minutes and a knockdown average of 1. While James Llontop, on the other hand, has a 50% KO TKO, 7% submission, 43% decision, with an average fight time sitting around 12 minutes and a knockdown average of also 1. Their knockdown average is fairly close, but James Llontop has a 0.10 average above than Mauricio. Mauricio Ruffy has not got it done in any other fashion. He hasn't submitted anyone and he hasn't won by a comfortable decision. He has completely knocked out all of his opponents that have been put in front of him. All 10 people he has put to sleep. While James Llontop, half of his wins are coming by knockout. So 7 of James's wins are coming by knockout and the other 7 are coming by submission and by decision. James Llontop, basing it just off of these stats so far, James Llontop should probably try and get it down and try and stay away from Mauricio Ruffy's power. Mauricio Ruffy, try and keep it long, keep him at range and try and go for that knockout. But let's move on to significant strikes to see how they performed on the feet in their previous fights. With James Llontop having an average of 5 punches landed per minute, a 43% significant strikes, an average of 4 punches absorbed per minute, with a defense of 62%. While Mauricio Ruffy, on the other hand, had an average of 5 punches landed per minute as well, with a 59% significant strikes, an average of 4 punches absorbed per minute as well, and a 59% defense. Basing off of defense, James Llontop had the better defense. Absorbing, James Llontop absorbed a little bit more than Mauricio Ruffy by 0.17. When it came to significant strikes percentage, Mauricio Ruffy had the better of the percentages, he had the more power, but when it came to landed per minute, James Llontop landed a bit more than Mauricio Ruffy. I still think Mauricio Ruffy should keep it on the feet, but well, obviously he's got the knockouts, but I think James Llontop could also try and strike a little bit, but I'd still be very cautious of Mauricio Ruffy's power, because if he lands them combinations or that one strike that catches you perfectly timed, it's going to be lights out. But I think James Llontop could do the same. He has 50% of his wins come by knockout, but I feel like Mauricio Ruffy is just a bit more dangerous on the feet. But let's move on to the grappling to see if it does go into any form of grappling, who could get it done and how they could get it done. Let's go. With Mauricio Ruffy having a 0 takedown average, a 0% takedown accuracy, a 100% takedown defense, with a submission average of 0, while James Llontop, on the other hand, had a 0 takedown average, a 0% takedown accuracy, and a 54% takedown defense, with a submission average of 0. Basing off of their last fights, it appeared that neither of them went for takedowns or attempted takedowns. I'm assuming that's what that means, right? Therefore, these two were very heavy strikers, while their opponents were definitely trying to get them down. James Llontop, if he does try and go for a takedown, it's going to be very hard because Mauricio Ruffy had a 100% takedown accuracy in his previous fight. Of course, Mauricio Ruffy's last opponent was not James Llontop, but Mauricio Ruffy must have some fairly good, at least, defense on getting taken down. Llontop, yes, he has defense of getting taken down, but I feel like he doesn't really need his takedown defense. I don't think Ruffy's going to try and go for any takedowns, but I think Llontop should try and go for takedowns in this fight because I think Ruffy is just so deadly on the feet. But that is just my thoughts and my opinions. What do you guys think? Who do you think wins and how do you think win? Apart from that, I'll catch you in a bit. Take care. We will be streaming this, by the way. This weekend, we are streaming UFC 309 on this channel. It's a watch party. I'm not going to show the fights. I'm not allowed. But we'll be live for that. One last thing. I've received comments that complain about my type of content. People are like, oh, he's just talking about information that you can see on the internet. That's true. That's true. I do talk about information that you can see on the internet, but I give my opinions on it, my spin on it, and I give my predictions as well. That's like me saying, what's the point in news channels? I can just go up and read the news instead of watching the news channels. It's a bit stupid. I'll catch you all in a bit. Take care and peace.